of the challenges that we face in virtual online meetings is all of the nuances that are happening in the background, and in many cases, all of the distractions. Let's talk about sidebar conversations for just a moment. I'm Charmaine Hammond, and I've been speaking and training people on the topic of communication and conflict resolution for about 30 years now. And one of the challenges I hear from leaders, frontline staff, and all roles in between is that virtual meetings can bring up situations that never get fully explored or addressed. Assumptions start to happen. People tell themselves stories about what someone's behavior meant. And when we don't have the answers, when we make assumptions, sometimes what we do is we fill in the blanks ourselves, and most times it's inaccurate and it's wrong. So when we look at sidebar conversations, what starts to happen is when people are online and they're chatting in the chat box to one another, it takes their attention away from the bigger group focus. But it also becomes very obvious that somebody is not with the conversation. In one meeting that I attended as an attendee, somebody had put a message in the chat that was clearly not for the entire group. It was for one person. Made a mistake because they're multitasking. I'm thinking it's because they're multitasking, and posted it to everyone instead of to one person. You can imagine everybody's eyeballs went over to the chat box, and facial expressions were changing. You could see and hear people frantically typing in the chat box. And I watched trust start to get challenged in that moment. One of the ways that I've seen leaders effectively navigate and actually avoid some of the challenges with sidebar conversations is to have in advance meeting courtesies set up. For example, is the chat box on or off? How are people going to use the chat box? How do we ensure that everybody on that screen has the opportunity to either raise their hand or share their input in some way? What about people who are less comfortable speaking up and prefer to communicate, or who can't? They may not be in an environment where they can come off on mute. How will all of those challenges be handled? And that's where groups start to work together to create in advance what I call meeting courtesies, the way that people will communicate with each other when they're on that virtual online meeting. As you go forward into future online meetings, virtual meetings, take a few moments to think about, could there be some in advance meeting courtesies that we talk about as a group and agree on as a group before the meeting goes forward? Thanks for joining us. I'm Charmaine Hammond with Hammond International.